Hello, 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 gamers, game developers, game publishers, and of course, gaming enthusiasts. How are y'all doing today? I am one of your two hosts this GDOC Expo, the Purple Sharpie, and I'm so incredibly excited to introduce yet another developer interview. I am here today with four different members of Starvania Studios. First, I'd love to introduce to this interview Miad, the CEO and executive producer of the studio, Salman, who is the marketing lead at the studio, Gadir, who is the artist at the studio, and Masleh, who is the creator directive at the studio. Everybody, thank you so much for being here today. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Now, Miad, I'd like to go to you as the CEO and executive producer of the studio. Can you give us a quick synopsis about the project that we are here to discuss?
So our game is called Bahamut and the Waqwaq Tree. It's inspired by Arabian mythology from 1001 Night Book. We believe that everyone speaks about other countries' mythologies, like a lot of games have been based on Greek mythologies or Japanese mythology, but no one's speaking about Arabian ones, where there are a lot of other stories that are worth to be told. And I believe that we can really deliver this new perspective to the global gaming market.
Well, every good story starts with the beginning. We have a trailer. Let's introduce it. So as you said, inside of that previous answer, a lot of these stories are based inside of the original Arabic tale of the 1001 Nights, where, we see a lot of mythologies discussed as well. I actually want to talk about the basis of this story, which has Ma'in inside of it. And I'd love to go to both you, Miad and Masleh, and kind of have both of you all kind of talk about more of why you decided to have this story take place inside of the ocean.
I think I would give the mic to Musleh to answer this question.
It's actually very funny that when we started in the game development process, we actually started with the mechanics and the feelings that we wanted to deliver, which when we started with an underwater game mechanics with the swimming, and then with back at the time we had jumping off water and whatnot, and it felt very really smooth and very fun to play with. And then we had at the time narrative designer. Her name was Ragad. She brought this idea of, okay, how can we make it as an Arabian themed game, and to kind of put the layer surrounding it with Arabian theme. She brought the idea of Bahamut and then Falak. She brought all those mythologies to our attention. And then we thought, okay, so maybe towards the market, there isn't something, let's say, tapped, and there was a gap in this area that we thought maybe, okay, with our game, we can cover that gap, and letting the globe know about our stories and mythologies that is in the Arabian region.
So Gadir, I want to go to you now. Obviously, the very first thing you have to address when you're underwater is, what is it going to look like? How visible are these color palettes, and what is the player going to be able to see when it comes into it? As an artist on staff, what did you use to determine some of the color palettes and some of the different types of renders and, you know, different types of models and just general references that you wanted to use inside of this underwater environment?
Yeah, so basically, since our game is mainly talking about balance between darkness and light, we wanted to really reflect that on the art. So we wanted to have like a very strong contrast between light and darkness, between claustrophobic areas and widely open and comfortable areas. And also we wanted to like put contrast on the colors themselves. There are very dark areas that were inspired by caves, by ancient mythologies. Also, there were like very vibrant and saturated colors that were mainly inspired by the heritage and the environment of ancient Arabian, mainly in marine area cultures.
So speaking of balance, that kind of is the underarching theme and the main ethos of what we see as a story here. It's like the story underneath the story inside of this game. Muslet, I'd really like to talk to you about why this game chooses to talk about the concept of balance and the idea of, you know, kind of struggling with light and dark, good and evil, and why that story is important and matters inside of 2024.
So we see a lot of conflicts that is happening in many fields where there is like duality or there is multiple ways of thinking where we as humans see we don't know the answer to it. We don't know who's right or who's wrong. Or I love my dad or I love my mom because she's too kind to me. But I kind of have these issues with my dad since he's a little bit tough on me. However, they're both doing correct things, right? They're not doing anything wrong. This is just their natural behavior. This is what we're kind of trying to reflect in our game, where there's this duality of behaviors between light and darkness, just like the yin yang, whereas they are completing each other, right? And this is what we are trying to achieve in our overall gameplay and story and narrative, where the player is starting over and it's the world is ruined. How can I fix this? By kind of restore. So he's going to add more light to the world and whatnot, and then no spoilers, but you're gonna be throughout your journey, you're gonna be understanding, okay, so I'm trying at the end of the day, I'm gonna try to balance things out. So in order to put more light, I'm gonna have to put more darkness, I'll say.
I also would like to add to what Muslih said, which is also aligned with our studio's vision, which is that we believe in building fantasy universes that is like being out of sight and from another perspective that haven't been discovered before, yet needs to be filled with thoughtfulness and inspiring concepts. And we believe that these kind of messages that we really can deliver through our Arabian mythology and Arabian culture.
So the studio has not only been very inspirational and inspiring to showcase stories, but obviously you all released a demo earlier this year that players have already had an opportunity to play on Steam. Now, Salman, I'd like to hear from you. How have the players been receiving this demo, and what type of community support and just overall like ideas have you received from the community after the demo's release?
First of all, we released our first public demo back in Steam Next Fest in June 2024. This is basically the first public demo. I remember me and the team were like extremely anxious, like how like the reception is gonna be, especially coming with, you know, such a fresh mythology, and we wanted to be basically as clear as possible and basically make sure that, you know, the players can relate to the narrative in a sense, and also have, you know, a very interactive gameplay. And to our surprise, you know, the indie scene on a regional sense is quite not as popular as, you know, I would say like in a Western sense. We basically paid extra attention to how like the reception is going to be, and to everyone's surprise, everyone had like a enjoyable time navigating through the demo. And like the feedback been absolutely amazing. We basically knew where we could focus in the game, and what we can improve on, especially nailing those extra details within the game itself, with like the narrative and the translation and the overall experience. And yeah, everything.
I'm really happy to hear that, mostly because as I played through the demo, I was very surprised, especially as I'm not typically a fan of puzzle games. I'm more of a fan of you mash the button and you get immediate reward, but the puzzles inside of the game were so incredibly rewarding, and some of the animations and some of just the general visuals felt really pleasing to play, which, I think is really just a testament to how polished this product is. We're coming up on the final moments of this interview, so I'd actually like to go over to Miad for the final question here. Obviously, funding is kind of a taboo topic inside of indie games. This is you all's very first commercial project, and I'm sure that the topic of funding was a difficult one for your team as well. Many indie teams struggle to find publishers and have to move over to crowdfunding through Kickstarter or other methods in general. How did you tackle the subject of funding this project?
Okay, so maybe I'll start speaking about the scene of the gaming industry in Saudi. So it's growing massively, but it's just starting. So everyone started to be really interested into this industry, and we're still starting to grow it and build the ecosystem. So there was a lot of initiatives, accelerators, and incubator, and we started with one of the incubation. Actually, we joined an incubation program called Game Changers. So it was a 1 year long program. And by the end of it, we can get an incentive or like a grant for the studio to continue working on our game. So after that program, we also joined another accelerator because we were trying to really accelerate the business as fast as we can, and also learn from the industry professional, as well as trying also to extend our runway. So we joined another accelerator, which was also giving us like a little bit of grant as well, to even giving us like a push or a boost to keep development the game. And maybe after we joined multiple accelerators, like during like the last 2 years, we got invested by Neon, the Lion City, which was a huge step for us. It gave us like a huge boost, and we grew a lot since then after we got the investment by Neon. So I guess because the industry is growing massively in Saudi, we got a lot of support from governmental entities and lots of initiatives and programs. And I think we were so lucky, and things are being even better in Saudi, which is, related to the gaming industry scene.
I'm really happy that you're able to share your story, and I'm really hopeful that it will be able to help additional teams. Miad, I know I said that was the final question. I'm sorry to be a liar, but I have to ask, what's next for your studio? Obviously, you all are actively working on a release, but is there anything else that you and your team are actively looking forward to right now?
We're releasing the game on the first quarter next year. We will be releasing it. Thank you. Yeah, we're releasing it very soon on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, and PC. We have actually a lot of good news that we got awarded the Graphics Galore Award in the expo at DevCon, and we were so proud of it. We're actually very proud to have Vadir as one of our artists. So that's a huge recognition and validation that we're going through, I would say, the right path. And we recently got awarded the Best Game Startup Award region, and that was also a huge validation for us, and we were very humbled to get this kind of recognition.
Thank you so much for sharing, and I just want to say congratulations on those multiple awards that you and the team have won. The future surely is bright. Thank you again, everyone.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you for having us.
You're great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Everybody, that's going to do it for this Game Devs of Color Expo 2024 developer interview. As always, if you would like to support Starvania Studios, I highly recommend wishlisting the game on Steam And if you go on over to that Steam page, you'll actually see a Discord link, which you should also join to stay up to date with any future projects that this development team has up their sleeve. We have even more of Game Devs of Color Expo 2024 coming up right now. Don't change that dial.